All right.
What's up, everybody? This is Rob Brandt.
And this is Rick Brandt, and we are the Brothers Brandt.
Welcome back to episode 170, the Paris 2024 Summer Olympic Games. Rick,
Rob, it is going to be epic. It's this time of year. It only comes around once every four, and it's just going to be weeks, multiple weeks of glorious competition between countries from all over the world. How excited are you?
I'm very excited because, Rick, I think every American is fighting, scratching, and clawing for football season, college football, NFL, not to divert the pod to talk about football, but this will be a nice segue because the only thing that's really going on right now is the dog days of baseball. So this gives a little spice, a little excitement. There's going to be some upsets. There's going to be some domination. So we'll get ready to rock and roll with all these different events. I'm personally very excited for the judo. Very pumped up for the judo wrestling. I've been looking at that for years now, paying attention to the rankings. And then breakdancing as well is going to be making its debut in the Summer Olympics.
The Olympics have really become very inclusive. We'll just say that they've become very inclusive, not your probably traditional sport that we're used to watching here in the US, but apparently, according to the IOC across the nation and the world, breakdancing is very popular. So we'll get a chance to see some breakdance competition, Robbie boy.
Absolutely bizarre, but let's rock and roll, man.
Well,
Um,
listen, here's a chance for the best athletes in the world to be crowned. And we've got 32 sports, we've got 329 events, and 196 countries represented. All eyes now turn to Paris starting this week, July 26th, with the opening ceremonies on the Seine River. Rob, this podcast, we're going to break down the bidding process, the preparations, the games, the calendar of events, and what you and I are most excited about for these Paris 2024 games. You ready to do it?
I'm ready to rock and roll. Now, Rick, just to let our viewers know, we got a lot of games going on. We got a lot of things happening. It is going to take place from the 26th to August 11th. So August 11th is the finish date. Just mark that in your calendars. It's going to be on NBC, on televised in America. And Rick, I'm excited to talk about how it became Paris. Do you know much how in the bidding process? Do you know how that worked out?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the 10,000 athletes who are going to call Paris home for the next couple of weeks are going to be treated to really a special Olympics, Rob. This Olympics is being praised as one of the most innovative ways to use a record-breaking number of existing facilities. So when the bidding process was taking place a decade ago, the folks from Paris who were putting together their proposal had basically included all of these existing facilities to be used. And if we think back to previous Olympics and even World Cups, you hear about these countries spending billions of dollars to create infrastructure to be able to withstand the hundreds of thousands of guests and all the competition. Well, that wasn't the case with this Olympics here. And so it was just raved about how they're going to be using pretty much almost all of their existing facilities over there in Paris. They had to construct a couple new ones, and there's a lot of eco-friendly, very environmentally friendly things that they're doing for the athletes within these facilities. And it was funny because not only was Paris bidding for these Olympics, but so too was the United States of America. And they too were looking to use a lot of the existing facilities that we're familiar with in the States. And so it was unprecedented. What they did was they said, all right, Paris, you take this one in 2024, and in 2028, the US, you take that one. So that's how
Los
we got.
Angeles.
That's right. That's how we got to where we're at now, Rob. And this is going to be only the third Summer Olympics ever in Paris. They hosted it in the year 1900 and then again in 1924, which coincidentally is 100 years ago.
The
So
centennial. You're going to
pretty
hear a lot
awesome
about
there.
that this week. 100 years, pretty monumental.
And London is the only other location to ever host three Summer Olympic Games. So while it seems like, man, three, that's it. Believe it or not, that's the most anybody's ever hosted. It's now going to be Paris and London. And France as a country will have now hosted six Olympics. So they've
Wow.
had their fair share over the couple hundred years the Olympics has been going on.
Yeah, it's amazing to think France has I mean, I guess it's a centralized country. You got a lot of different sports going on there. So I think they got some good major cities. I was just with a client of mine who's so excited to be going out to Paris for the Summer Olympics.
It's
It's
it's it's
it's here.
very manageable. It's very, easy for anybody around the world, like you said,
Mhm.
centrally located to get to. So they're actually, Rob, going to do something that's never been done before in the Olympics. It's the first ever non-traditional opening ceremony. It's the first time that the opening ceremony is not going to occur in a traditional enclosed stadium. Rather, this opening ceremony, as we talked about in the intro on the Seine River, is going to be a float parade, something that's never been done before. They're expecting over 300,000 spectators to come and line the sides of the river. This Olympics is being promoted as the most spectacular and accessible opening ceremony in Olympic history. They're calling this Olympics, Paris 2024, the People's Olympics.
Wow. Wow. A little parade, a little float action right there. I like that. That's going to
Come
be fun.
on.
I'm
How could you
excited to see
not?
what the floats look like. I hope they go all out.
Well, a couple other things related to this year's Olympics, and then we'll get into some of the nitty gritty. The logo actually is a female figure, and it pays homage to the 1900 Paris Summer Olympics, which was the first Olympics that ever had women Olympians in it competing.
Wow. Wow.
So Paris was the first one ever back in 1900. And as, like I said, a little homage to that, the logo you'll see for the next few weeks is actually a female logo. Their mascot, Rob, is this hilarious looking kind of like French hat. And it's a symbol of freedom and liberty
Like
with
a
a,
beret. Is it like a
like,
beret?
it's kind of like a beret. It's technically called a, pie, Pryges or something. It's a
It's
Phryg's.
it's a big one. Sound it out. Yep.
I know. It's not easy.
Inaugural. Inaugural.
Its motto is alone we go faster, but together we go further.
Wow, that's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Rob, the torch relay, which is a big
But don't you
tradition.
want to go? Don't you want to go faster in like the Olympics? Like, don't you want to like go faster for time? Like, if you're a swimmer, like sprinter, like, shouldn't you go like alone, like sprinting? So,
It could be counter productive to encourage people to go together in situations like that. But I think
like, I don't think Usain Bolt was like waiting for anybody. Like, he wanted to go alone. He was the fastest, and now he's recognized worldwide as the greatest ever.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to put together an email and I'm going to send it over to them and
Doesn't
see.
make much sense for a lot of the events. I mean, basketball, soccer, I get it. Golf, like, but like 50-50, you probably want to go alone.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe they should work on that. Go, go alone if you can. All right, so Rob, get this though. This is pretty cool, and I think it's something that we'll probably be more familiar with in 4 years when the Olympics are here in Los Angeles in the United States. But get this, the torch relay, which is like the big deal leading up to the Olympics, it actually got underway back on April 16th, 100 days before the start of the games, and it always kicks off in Olympia, Greece, which is where the first Olympics were ever held. And so they light this flamed torch, and then it has been on a visiting tour of France, visiting over 400 towns since April 16th. And yes, it will eventually make its way to the opening ceremonies. It was announced recently that LeBron James and Coco Gauff would be holding the American flags, and I believe Snoop Dogg is going to get his hands on the
Why not? Why
on
not?
the torch right as this thing's coming to the finish line. So should be hilarious and fun to watch on TV. The last little bit that is worth talking about here is that the medals themselves that the athletes will be receiving actually have scraps of iron taken from the original Eiffel Tower, and it's like mixed in with the medals themselves. So I don't know too much about the history of other medals, but to me that was a pretty cool little fun trivia fact there.
That was cool. I like how they tied that into it. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. We talked about the facilities being very eco-friendly. No joke. The furniture in many of these apartments where the athletes are going to be staying are cardboard furniture. It's not a cardboard box like you would think, but it's actually similar material. Like we said, very environmentally friendly. The Olympic villages, they're going to be converted over into office and apartment space afterwards. So the overall cost for these Olympics, $9 billion. You talked about the breakdancing making its first time appearance, debut in the Olympics. That's the only new sport. And we've talked about where we'll see the Summer Games in 2028. In 2026, Australia will host the Winter Olympics. But Rob, let's talk about these sports that are going to be taking place in Paris in the next couple of weeks. Run through them here with the listeners, and then stop by all means and let's talk through some of the ones that we're excited about.
All right, Rick. Well, we got aquatics now with swimming, right?
Oh yeah, all the different swimming competitions. Oh yeah.
Oh, I say aquatics just because maybe they're talking about, the synchronized swimming and whatnot, but swimming, I feel like should be its own event. But having trouble getting past this one. Archery, badminton, basketball, boxing, canoeing, cycling, equestrian, fencing, field hockey, soccer, golf. You want that gymnastics? You got that gymnastics. Rowing, rugby, sailing, skateboarding. I feel like I'm singing. Climbing, surfing, table tennis, taekwondo, tennis, regular tennis, triathlon, running, hurdles, relay, marathon, long jump, high jump, pole vault, shot put, discus and javelin throw, volleyball, weightlifting, and wrestling.
Wow. Wow. What a lineup, Rob. What a lineup. That's going to be epic. 32 sports, 329 events. And oh, gosh, man, I am so excited to see what Team USA has in store this year. Rob, they've won the total medal count 8 consecutive summer games. And that sounds crazy. Like, just think about that.
Yeah.
For 8 summer games, so 8 times 4, do a little quick math for me here, Rob. 32, right? 32?
Yep.
32 years, basically our lifetime. The US has pulled in the most medals out of all countries. And for 4 consecutive summer games, they've had the most gold medals. Now, I have to say, when I first read that stat, I thought to myself, dang, the US is so dominant. However, I started to pry into some more details. It turns out that the United States has the most athletes competing in the Olympics.
Wow, there you go.
And that's what does it, Rob, is we bring the most athletes to the table. And as a result, we get the most medals. And so I think that can be a little deceiving because, well, we should. We've got the most athletes. Check this out. This year, we have 598 athletes. So basically 600 athletes. France, the next closest, has 572. You know, they're the host country, so they have a good representation. But then the amounts start to fall off pretty staggeringly, all the way down to Belize, who has one athlete appearing. So it's just, I want to throw that out there. The US is probably going to win the medal count. I would think they would do well with the golds as well, but we also have the most athletes. So I just want to point that out.
Yeah, and Belize with one athlete. How about that? I think that's one of the fun things about the Olympics. Like, to be honest, I think America is going to run away with it like they always do, just because of that the number of athletes competing. They're battling for over 1,000 medals, so 1,017 medals will be given out throughout the course of this Olympics. But it's just they can't keep up with that. We got the facilities, we got the athletes, sports are sports in America. Sports are not sports in other countries, in the sense that, like, I mean, that's why all these sports are kind of bizarre, Rick. Got breakdancing in there, trying to mix it up. You might get some different winners. I feel like USA dominates a lot of events. Swimming, domination; gymnastics, domination.
Yeah, that's an excellent segue, Rob, because I got to be honest. I'm probably not going to tune into a lot of those bizarre sports that I'm not familiar with. The sports that we are familiar with are the ones that I'm most excited about. Men's basketball, Rob, in the
Correct.
group stage, they are going to be playing Serbia, Puerto Rico, and South Sudan starting on July
How,
28th.
how about that friendly with Team USA and South Sudan?
Very
Almost
close.
lost. LeBron James won with a layup. They were favored by 40 something points. What is going on with Team USA?
And there are some good NBA players from Serbia as well, too. So I would think that they would get through the group stage for sure, but it wouldn't surprise me if they got clipped in a game. We'll see what happens, and they should pull in the gold medal here. They just have so much talent, Rob. It would
Yeah,
be
but they didn't. I don't think they won the last Olympics. I think they lost. I'm pretty sure Germany won or something like that.
Well, yeah, and I think that's why it's such a disappointment when the men's basketball programs don't win gold at the Olympics.
Yeah, and
But
they always try to compare it to the 92 Dream Team, and I'm just like, what are you doing? What's going on here? Stop it. Stop it. Get it together. Win some gold medals easily.
yeah, then come talk to me.
Yep.
So, Rob, men's soccer, they've got some pretty awesome opponents in the group stage. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so men's soccer, they're facing the host nation, France. They're also going to be facing New Zealand and Guinea. Um, should get two victories against New Zealand and Guinea. And then France will toss up. I got to look at the rosters, man. I got to see who's playing, who's not playing, because you got the EPL starting up a little bit. So, yeah, I got to look at these rosters and dissect them. But I feel like France, they were a favorite to win the Euros. They kind of dropped the ball. They lost to Spain. I think Spain might be running it back in the Olympics. So we'll see what happens here, going for gold. But yeah, I think they're going to get out of the group stage. They'll get out of the group stage, and then them and France will get out.
And that all starts July 24th. The other sport that I'm very excited about, Rob, is both the men's and the women's golf.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
we're golf enthusiasts here. We've got two American stud golfers on the ladies' side, Nelly Korda and Rose Zhang. Excited to
Hmm.
watch those ladies tee it up. And Prior to that, we're going to see the men's golf and Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, Colin Morikawa, and Wyndham Clark are going to be representing the United States beginning August 1st.
Yeah, surprised they didn't go with Bryson DeChambeau. Why is that, Rick? How'd they come up with these four right here?
Yeah, so there's the official golf world rankings in the world, and I think based upon the fact that Bryson's over on Live, not accumulating the official golf world rankings, he really hasn't picked up the points that Wyndham Clark had from last year's U.S. Open victory at
Okay.
the LACC, and a lot of these also were qualifiers from many weeks and months ago, not necessarily just in the last couple days. So you've got some major championship. In fact, all of these are major winners. And it's just cool to see all the different golfers from around the world. I remember when they brought the golf back into the Olympics and Justin Rose won, and even Xander Schauffele got a gold medal last time we had the Olympics played. So this will be fun. This will be a fun golf tournament to watch, kind of break up the golf season. We just had our last major of the year in Scotland at the Open. And then we've got a couple weeks until the FedEx Cup playoffs get going. So this is a perfect little segue to keep us engaged there. And as we close out this Olympic podcast, let's talk about some of these athletes that, Rob, I was amazed at how many are from the state of Texas, where yours truly is located. And then you've got a couple local New Jersey natives from in and around where you and I grew up. So we're going to be keeping our eyes out for, in particular, Simone Biles, one of the greatest Olympians of all time from the great state of Texas. Check this one out. Hesley Rivera, gymnast from Hackensack, New Jersey, now lives in Plano, Texas, which is where my wife is from. She's the youngest Olympian, and she went from New Jersey to Texas. Sha'Carri Richardson, very well-known track star from Dallas, Texas. Scotty Scheffler, we talked about earlier, golf phenom, Dallas, Texas. And then judo, which you talked heavily about on the front end of the podcast, which you've been following for years now. It's this unarmed form of Japanese martial arts. Well, Rob, there's a New Jersey native in there that we're going to be keeping an eye out for from West Long Branch, New Jersey. And last but not least, Morgan Pearson, triathlon from Spring Lake, New Jersey. You might have to try to race her, Rob. I know you love those triathlons.
I do love those triathlons, Rick. And I just want to jump in here. And, you started by saying, Rob, I was just shocked at how many Olympians are from the great state of Texas that I live in. Rick, Texas is a massive state, an absolutely absurd state. It's arguably the biggest state in the country. And you're over here. I'm surprised. And then you rattle off 1, 2, 3 people, Rick. Right? Is that correct? At 5, 4, 4, 5?
There were some other ones, but not as notable as these here.
Rick, there are over 20 something athletes representing the small state of New Jersey.
Pretty
Olympic
awesome.
athletes. And you know what I'm going to do, Rick? I'm going to fact check you on this one because you're wrong with Scotty Scheffler. You're wrong with Scotty Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler, the reason why I like him, because he's a class act, great guy, great golfer, he's a Jersey boy. The kid was born in Ridgewood, New Jersey, and spent the first 6 years of his life in Ridgewood, New Jersey, and then moved to Dallas, Texas. So I'm fact checking you right there for everybody.
Everyone knows it boils down to a high school diploma. Where did you get the diploma from? Where's the diploma located? That's where your home is. Okay. High school is where your home is.
It's not where the roots are, baby. It's not where the roots are. Those are fond memories at 6 years old, having a nice bagel, bacon, egg, and cheese pork roll, egg and cheese, Taylor ham, egg and cheese, whatever you want to call it, going down to the shore as a 6-year-old, enjoying the amusement park and the rides, getting that beach action in. Nah, he's got dirt and sand in Texas. He's got
He
nothing to
picked
do but
up,
play golf.
he picked up and he left.
He picked up and he left. Let's run through some of the famous Jersey people, Rick. You got Morgan Pearson there. You got a judo is an unnamed Japanese. Okay, you got a representative from West Long Branch, of course. Spring Lake, New Jersey. Let's go through all the New Jersey people, okay? If you're watching the Olympics, I want you to know that Bam Adebayo, famous basketball player for the Miami Heat, will be in the Olympics this year, which is very exciting. So Bam Adebayo. And then you have Jack Alexey, who ironically, I've actually been paying attention to this guy. He's a 6'8" swimmer from Cal Berkeley, back-to-back national champs for the Cal Bears. Big deal over here from Morristown, New Jersey. Del Barden, graduate. You got Jackie Dubrovic, okay, from Riverdale. And then you have Nick Fink from Pingree College. He goes to the University of Georgia. He's going to be swimming as well. Amanda Golini, field hockey from Randolph, New Jersey. Check her out. Jesse Grouper, sport climbing, grew up in Montclair, New Jersey. He's going to be representing the fine country of the United States of America in sport climbing. Alexander Hedge of rowing. So Alex grew up in Short Hills, New Jersey. Actually, Alex was in Mountain Lakes, New Jersey, where our friend Field Baldinger is from. So little love right there. And here's one of my favorite, Rick. Salif Maine. Salif Maine. Mane. Pay attention to this guy. Track and field, United States of America, a graduate of the Fairleigh Dickinson University. He won the Olympic trial in the triple jump. You're telling me Salif Maine from Fairleigh Dickinson University upsets Texas, Georgia, all these SEC schools in the triple jump. Freaking pumped for him. Jaden Marchand representing Trinidad and Tobago, but he's in high school. He's Leonia High School. He's a high school senior, and he's going to represent Trinidad and Tobago because he's part Trinidad and Tobagoan. We got track and field Katura Orji from Orji. I hope I'm saying that right. United States of America. She made a big deal in the past Summer Olympics. You cannot forget about Ethan Ramos, wrestling, representing Puerto Rico. Molly Reckford, rowing for the United States of America, grew up in Short Hills, New Jersey. Hesley Rivera, gymnastics, United States of America. Mitchell Saran, fencing, United States of America. Scotty Scheffler, as I mentioned before. Elizabeth Tarkatowski, Livingston, New Jersey alumni. Harvard University freshman representing fencing. John Tolkien, soccer, United States of America, making his debut as a 21-year-old. Pretty epic stuff. Chekna Trory, track and field, Ivory Coast. Okay, Ivory Coast being represented from New Jersey. Lizzie Bird, representing Great Britain in the track and field. Must have a dual citizenship there. Maya Chamberlain, fencing in the United States. Claire Collins, rowing, United States. Kalia Cooper, basketball. Absolute stud. She lit it up in the NBA. She plays for the Washington Mystics. Stein de Jong, wrestling, South Africa. Matt Fallon, swimming, United States of America. That's a big deal to represent the United States of America. New Jersey, big swim school. Sabrina Fang, fencing, Canada. Tom George, rowing, Great Britain. Simin Gordensky. Sandra Guttormson, track and field, Norway. The list goes on and on, Rick. We got fencing. We got other things to check out right here. And then we also have an absolute stud of a track and field athlete, Sydney McLaughlin, Lavrone, recently married, I would presume, but Sydney McLaughlin, who cleaned up in track and field in the 2020 or previous Olympics that we had. She continues to break and set her own records. She is from Union Catholic, New Jersey. Fun fact, I actually knew her high school coach, which was kind of cool. He was hyping her up about 10 years ago. He goes, she's the real deal. Rick, we got so many to name over here. The list goes on and on and on. I think it's about 30 or 40 people are represented from the fine state of New Jersey. Woo! How about that? How about that for a little representation? Take your 5 people from the big state of Texas and suck it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Brothers Brand Podcast, episode 170, the Paris Olympic Games. Enjoy the competitions, enjoy the podcast. I'm Rick Brandt.
And I'm Rob Brandt. USA, USA, USA.
Thanks for listening.